So my topic that I had chose for the proposed is digitalization of online payments and the lack of digital and financial literacy for customers, and it is presented by me. So in discussion of this topic, I wanted to talk on how digitalization has specifically affected people who lack resources of having digitalization, or people who in general have not been acquainted with digitalization, such as your elders or people who have disabilities, and I want to just speak on that a little bit. So, digital financial literacy and its importance. So, digital literacy is basically the digital aspects of literacy and understanding, and this helps with us understanding how to navigate media platforms and data. This can be anything from TikTok, Instagram, Canvas, or even Google Slides. And then the financial literacy is the part of helping us understand how to go about finances and savings, retirement plans, and debt management, and also anything from our credit to Roth RAs and anything of that nature. So, how these literacies coincide? So, these literacies that I'm speaking on are digital literacy and financial literacy. So, these um, literacies collide because they are a central part of the economy and they are constantly growing. And it seems that as we continue to grow as an economy, these things also grow. And it allows for growth socially and economically. So, one way that I have seen this in the recent years is through Apple Pay, Google Pay, Android Pay. Any of the new e forms of paying has been a way in which people are able to grow socially and economically. Ways that it also coincides is it strengthens against fraud and scams. So when thinking about digital literacy and financial literacy, we need to really think about how it goes into fraud and scams, because it tends to be that it tends to be that people get scammed when using digital platforms, and this is a big problem from a financial standpoint, which is why we always have the fraud option and we are able to call our banks and say, I want to call in terms of fraud. It also helps us manage businesses and money. Since everything is becoming digital, having digital and financial literacy has coincided, because if you go into any store now, they usually have an iPad that is available. If you go to a coffee shop, there's an iPad available and it tells you like you can add a tip or you can pay through Google Pay, Apple Pay, or through your card. But in that, the workers have to understand how to use the digital aspect of finances. So the effects of lack of digital and financial literacy is there's an inconsistency with payments, specifically for people of the older generation or even people who lack resources. There's also debts because they have not understood properly how to use financial, financial digital literacy. Poor credit due to the fact of having debts, fraud because people tend to get taken advantage of in the process of learning how to learn financial literacy through digitalization, in which they get fraud. And then the lack of cybersecurity. In some aspects, there has been a lack of cybersecurity. As the years continue, I see a lot of people have been going into cybersecurity to help better um, security online. So the emotional effects of lack of financial and digital literacy. So there is a bunch of emotional effects to the lack of financial and digital literacy, and I feel like it's not really talked about. So how are people feeling? A lot of people are feeling unseen, out of place in their economy because of the lack of digital financial understanding. This can be from, let's say, for instance, your grandparent going out and Apple Pay is something that they have to use. They don't really understand how to use it. They're struggling how to use their phones, so struggling using finances is also something as well. And then the feeling of being unprotected. I have seen so many people get lost and also get hacked, and get fraud because they do not understand or see the precautions or anything about cyber security. And then education on digital payment is also something that many people face. A lot of people are uneducated on how to use the digital platforms. Specifically, I like to look at the older generation. You have to think that those things were not something that they're used to. So as they're now getting these new phones and new technology, they have to understand how to navigate the digital payment as well, which can be challenging because they are still trying to understand how to navigate their phones. And also just the fact of being confused. As you can see in this picture here, this lady seems to be confused and very irritated and tired of not understanding how to use of how things changed and how finances have changed in the past years or even now. So in terms of looking at digitalization and also persuading my point, I like to look at the statistics and the data to back up. So 16% of the US adults are not digitally literate. And this is a big number of people. So, studies have shown by Pew Research Center that 40% of adults lack proper financial digital skills. So, this means they don't know how to properly work digitalization. This could be properly not properly knowing how to work finances. So there's two things that coincide: not knowing how to do the finances or not knowing how to do digital skills, or it could be both at the same time. And this is 40% of adults in the US population. So it in terms of data as well, higher illiteracy for unskilled workers has tend to be something that have caused a drift. So unskilled workers could be anybody that does not that is not in a trade or the medical field or the technology field. That is a problem for them. And then 57% of the U.S. adults are financially literate. So only 57% are financially literate, and then there's a gap of 43 who are not financially literate. And this is a big problem. How change can be enforced. So change can be enforced by bringing awareness to the situation, providing brochures and books for traditional learners, videos specified for websites, classes on digital and financial literacy, a person who does walkthroughs or certification, but is certified to help give proper understanding on how to go about digitalization and finances. And then fraud and scam education is a big thing in how to go against the problems that are faced in digital financial literacy. Lastly is the summary. So this summary is a chunk of information, but I'm going to break it down. So digitalization of financial literacy covers a variety of topics. This is digital and also the financial aspects of literacy and overall managing it through savings and debt management and also credit management. Altogether, we are able to see an economy that grows strong together and allows for allows for us to prosper. And without literacy, the economy is subject to be more entitled to debts and poor credits and more vulnerable to hackers because of the lack of security. And to get past that, we have to protect our people, and that is through enhancing cybersecurity, being more aware of problems and educating others, and also educating ourselves. And altogether, having financial literacy is important, and the knowledge of it should be spread around the world. Along these slides, I've also have a couple of resources. These are not all the resources that I have used in my um, research on digitalization, but these are some of the key ones that I've used. Again, I want to go back and I want to reinstate how we can change the um, digitalization of finances for customers, and that is through being aware, brochures and books for traditional learners, such as our elders, videos for people who are visual learners, classes on digital and financial literacy for our hands-on learners, or a person who does walkthroughs for somebody who needs the one-on-one and step-by-step, and then fraud and scam education to prevent fraud and scam from happening to others, in which we can grow as a society and be more financially and digitally aware. Thank you guys for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and have a good day. Thank you.